Okay. What the hell happened there? Let's see if you guys show up. I am bummed. Okay, well, that's not good. I'll wait for some people to show up. Part 2 is in the house. Okay, I see one person showing up. This is not good. This was a great show too. Don't know what happened, gang. Let me open up a new. Let me open up a new window here. Good God. All right. For whatever happened. Hi everybody, coming back. Had a little technical difficulty there. I have no idea what happened. I don't know if my internet stopped or what, but my show completely stopped there. Let me just check real quick just to make sure. It looks, obviously I didn't get kicked off of YouTube. Hi Zan Wild. I didn't see you earlier, but welcome back. Not a good day for this nonsense. Yeah, I don't know if it was my internet or what. Clearly I'm back on. It's okay, a different thumbnail. That's weird. I even have a thumbnail for this. So I'm going to give it a minute or two. Let me correct the thumbnail. No, it has the right thumbnail. Let's see if I can fix that anyway. This is the one. Da-da. That should be it. Save that. Are we all good? Slowly. Okay, everyone seems to be finding it. We're back up to 22. I had 45 people here earlier. So hopefully everyone finds the spot. Welcome back. Welcome. Oh, let's put this on live chat too. Welcome back, Tyre. Black Hebrews Light, Chicago Mike, Mike Savage. What's your name? Gunfox, James Colley, Chicago Mike. What's Ray Namian, San Wild, Simon Wolfwood, Asan, Jimmy Das Hotep, Shady Grin, Lord Stanhope, Rachel Madhouse Dildo, Scrappy Gunfox 61. I don't know what happened there. It just completely dumped my stream. So I have no idea why. But anyway, let's where was I? I read Gunfox. Well, let's see. We'll just do this again. All right. We did the American Company one, didn't we? All right, we'll skip that. We did that already. Okay. All right, I'm caught up. Let's just keep going, and if people find us, they find us. So anyway, trans women is trending. Is this it right here? What the hell? How did that get here? Let's get rid of that. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Marty, do you have Ranting Monkeys internet? No, I don't. That's the thing. I have great internet. Now I have to reconfigure the way I have my monitors set up because my monitors don't refresh the way they're supposed to, and probably because I'm not running them through my GPU, but everything else should be just fine. But thank you, Chicago Mike, for sponsoring the show. Greatly appreciate it. All right, let's see. How many are back? Okay, well, that's almost 30 of you are back, so at least we're getting there. Not the 45 we had before, but that's okay. All right, let's, so trans women's training, and it's not because of nice things, apparently. Maybe that's what happened. They heard me talking. They didn't like that. So anyway, but the thing, let me just give you the big one that started this, I think, is I see trans women as trending for some reason. Trans women are adult human males who wish they were women. They deserve some kind of kindness. They deserve the same kindness and respect as every other human on the planet. But as males, they do not belong in female-only spaces. It's really that simple. So basically everything, almost 90% of the tweets are like that. No one is denying your humanity. If you are a trans woman, you are a human being. But if you're going to dictate to me that I'm supposed to pretend that men are women and women are men, no. I'm not going to modify basic biology because it threatens your subjective sense of what you are. And it's just, I mean, I am shocked. I'm shocked. And I'm pretty sure we're going to hear about it tomorrow or in the next 24 hours. And just, this is my prediction because almost all these tweets are like this. I'm going to predict that there's going to be a backlash against Twitter for allowing this to trend. Just like there was a backlash when Twitter started asking about when things about, like, for example, things about Leah Thomas trend. If it was something negative that trended about trans women, they will not allow it to trend. If it's something positive, they will. And speaking of which, let me see if I can find this hell, because and let me see. I'm gonna check my Twitter search feature here for Leah Thomas, because there's been an update in the Leah Thomas story, which if it's true, I'm gonna be annoyed. Let's see, Leah Thomas. Is that how you spell it? Leah Thomas. Because apparently, and this may or may not be wrong. I don't know if it's in here. Here it is. Here it is. And I know this is within the subject, and it's kind of like, Richo, good morning. University of Pennsylvania has nominated transgender swimmer Leah Thomas for NCAA Woman of the Year award. And this is just another one of those things. And where I find myself in solidarity with the TERFs, and I'm not saying TERF is a derogatory term. I think Leah Thomas, why? Leah Thomas has been a woman for exactly 1 year, and now she's going to be Woman of the Year. It's amazing. It is amazing to me how whatever these former men or whatever that I don't want to get in trouble. These men are better women than women because they keep winning Women of the Year. What's her name? Jenner? Caitlyn Jenner, whatever, formerly as Bruce Jenner. By the way, I was thinking about. Well, I'm going on a rant. Leah Thomas, the transgender swimmer who dominated the 2021-2022 NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving season, has been nominated by the University of Pennsylvania to receive the NCAA Women of the Year award. Up to 2 female athletes can be nominated by eligible schools, and this year, there's a total of 577 nominees. But guess who's going to win it? Guess who's going to win that award for one reason only? For one reason only. Not even the most successful swimmer in the NCAA women's division this year. But Leah Thomas will win NCAA Woman of the Year because they can't fucking help themselves. It's fascinating. So, yes, women wanted equity. Well, they got it. This is one of the things we'll talk about Gabs with on Friday. Because she's tired of the indoctrination of kids in school regarding either critical race theory, the trans stuff, and all that yakety smackety, as she would call it. Anyway, the award is designed to recognize, quote, female student athletes who have exhausted their eligibility and distinguished themselves in their community in athletics and academics throughout their college careers. Well, that may be the one factor that would stop Leah Thomas from getting NCAA Woman of the Year, because throughout their college careers, well, wasn't very distinguished when Leah Thomas was swimming as a male. Didn't even break the top 500, so maybe, just maybe, Leah Thomas will not win that award. However, I'm betting on Leah Thomas to win the award. Just like the new admiral, the health person that, oh my God, the assistant surgeon general or something like that. Not even the surgeon general. The first time they had a public ceremony for an underling, presidential nominee, because it was that former Secretary of Health from Pennsylvania who played. Oh, in fact, who was that guy? I think he played football in high school with Mike Pompeo. Levine, yes. Anyway, I am dumbfounded by this stuff. Nominated for Woman of the Year award. Okay, because a man just becoming a woman is the best woman ever, of all times ever. So I'm going to move on. Sweden and Finland are trending today because Sweden and Finland are interested in joining NATO, and there was a vote in Congress yesterday in which 18 Republicans, including MTG, Matt Gaetz, and Lauren Boebert, voted against Sweden and Finland joining NATO. Now, there's a lot of people calling them traitors and calling them Putin puppets and all this stuff because they don't think that it's a good idea for Finland and Sweden to join NATO, which, I think it was at the Warsaw Pact, or there was some pact that they had that the bordering countries along this Russia wouldn't join NATO because they wanted to have a buffer. And now the two adjoining countries to Russia are interested in joining NATO. So Business Insider, which is kind of a left-wing rag, wrote the story here. 18 Republicans, including MTG, Matt Gaetz, and Lauren Boebert, their favorite Republicans, because you know how much they hate those guys, voted against Sweden and Finland joining NATO. 18 Republican lawmakers opposed Finland and Sweden. Vote passed easily, but nay voters included several far-right GOP members. The House vote was symbolic because the U.S. portion of the approval process takes place in the Senate. So this vote in the House didn't mean anything anyway. No one gives a shit. It doesn't. It's just some symbolic bullshit that they did to get these people to vote no. 18 Republican lawmakers voted against the U.S. allowing Finland and Sweden to join NATO. Among the dissenters on Monday, they named the three. See, the tweet, the first headline, and the first sentence of all three of these, including the first line of the summary, all say the same stupid shit. The vote was a symbolic one to express support from the House for the applications. The formal process by which the U.S. can ratify new NATO members takes place in the Senate. This is a meaningless vote. The House passed the bill easily, 394, leaving 18 Republicans in a small minority, even among their own party. And then they want to give the list. See, this is the hit list. These are the people you should hate. They give you a list of Republicans you should dislike because they disagree that Sweden and Finland should be in NATO, which, you know what? Why are we going to now start paying for Sweden and NATO's defense? Which we kind of already do anyway. 19 U.S. lawmakers did not vote, 17 Republicans and 2 Democrats. Finland and Sweden applied to mid-May, turning away from decades of neutrality in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Both countries have an uneasy proximity to Russia via the Baltic Sea. Earlier, each of the 30 NATO member states must approve any further members joining. And right now, Turkey is not happy about this idea. I don't know why, but they're not on board. Let's just put it that way. Finland has a land border with Russia and repelled a brutal invasion known as the Winter War in the 1940s. NATO formally invited the countries to join at the end of June, saying it would fast-track the process. Once a country is in NATO, all other members of the alliance are obliged to go to war if it is invaded. Well, great. Good morning, legit low talker. The Warsaw Pact. Yeah. So anyway, look, they're not the only ones. Look, the anti-war left and the anti-war right are both against this, but that what are those, the squad, that progressive caucus of Democrats that are supposed to be anti-war? Well, all of them just went along, and I'm just fascinated by that. I'm truly fascinated. Now, there are a lot of people being a little snarky about this on Twitter, calling, look, the Treason Caucus doesn't support Sweden and Finland joining NATO. Color me not at all shocked. And then they list all those members again. Pro-Putin Russia Republicans voted against Sweden and Finland joining NATO, 394 to 18. Moderation of the House overwhelmingly voted tonight to back the entry of Finland and Sweden in NATO. 18 Republicans voting no. The final vote was 394 to 18. The no votes. And then they give you a list of Republicans you're supposed to hate because they voted no. Well, one Republican explained why he didn't vote for this. Thomas Massey, America cannot afford to subsidize socialist Europe's defense, nor should we. Tonight I vote against the House resolution urging NATO's expansion into Sweden and Finland. And there's an article in Newsweek, which I must have accidentally shut. Majority of NATO nations fail to spend 2% of GDP on defense. Now, this is back when... This is back in March, because remember, Donald Trump tried to get NATO to spend the money they're supposed to on NATO, but it seems like only the United States is carrying the burden. Just 8 of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization's 30 member nations met the alliance's military spending guidelines, with the U.S. still by far the defense pact's biggest spender, according to the organization's annual report. New numbers were published Thursday in NATO. This is back in March. In NATO, Secretary Jens Stoltenberg annual report of 2021, while figures show more members of the Cold War era military alliance are meeting their spending commitments, they confirm a complaint from some Republicans, and Donald Trump had told you fuckers, you better start spending what you're supposed to, or we're not going to be out here saving your ass every time. And others that member countries aren't paying their fair share. So that's why Madison Cawthorn voted against it, because the other fuckers in NATO weren't pulling their, they love to say, well, these corporations need to pay their fair share. Well, some of these NATO motherfuckers need to step up too and get with the program. We're not here to save your ass. You know what? The reason you have free healthcare is because we're paying for your military coverage. Anyway, all right, moving on. Also trending on Twitter today is Pigpen. Now, cartoonist making fun of Steve Bannon. People react to the addition of the fictional character Pigpen from Peanuts comic strip to what appears to be a courtroom sketch from former Donald Trump strategist Steve Bannon's contempt trial. So now look, Steve Bannon does kind of look like he's Pigpen. He's a sloppy dresser and always looks like shit, and this scraggly beard, unshaven and shit. So, but the contempt trial, come on. Did they have a contempt trial for Eric Holder, who is held in contempt of Congress? I don't think so. But most people have the predictable, why you got to do Pigpen like that? Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, please don't offend Pigpen this way. Oh, yes, never thought of that one. Anyway, so that's why Pigpen's trending. We're going to move on from that. Also trending today is Rachel Maddow. MSNBC airs a new episode of Rachel Maddow. Well, Rachel Maddow apparently found a memo from the Department of Justice. And this Politics USA is a left-wing outlet here. They have a story. Rachel Maddow reveals the DOJ memo that has Trump rushing to declare his candidacy, which he's not. I don't think he's going to declare his candidacy anytime soon. Probably after the midterm elections, probably not before that, but he's not rushing. If he was rushing, he'd be at a microphone right now. But the story is, here it is. Now we know. Here's what she said. Here's the story. Rachel Maddow revealed the DOJ memo that Donald Trump thinks will keep him from being prosecuted if he declares his candidacy for 2024. No. That's not what the memo says, but this is how they're going to spin it. Maddow said, now we know that we've obtained this Justice Department memo. It concludes something It concludes something into actions. If he announces himself as a declared candidate for president, that means any investigation that relates to him or anyone working for him has to be personally cleared in writing through the very highest echelons of the Justice Department. The Justice Department has a lot of discretion in how it pursues criminal prosecutions, how many resources apply to a particular problem, how aggressive to be in charging and sentencing decisions, and honestly, in how fast to move. Are they being outflanked? Is it realistic to wonder if Trump is going to get one over the DOJ by announcing his candidacy very early? So here's what they did. They said, basically, there's a memo in the Justice Department saying, you guys are doing that January 6th shit over there. They're not verbatim. This is just summary, and not even a summary because that part's not in it. But basically what they're saying is, yeah, you guys are doing that little political shit over there, but if we go political and don't really have any evidence to prosecute Trump for a specific crime, well, maybe that wouldn't look too good. And, since we don't want to be known as the political wing of the, we don't want to be known as a political hitman, okay? So it's very unlikely that we're going to prosecute Trump whether he's a candidate or not, because we don't have anything. We know we don't have anything. The FBI knows we don't have anything. And your little dog and pony show over there, well, that's just a bunch of bullshit. Now, that's not what the memo says. Again, I'm just telling you the essence of what the DOJ memo says, even though that isn't even close to what it says verbatim. But that's what's happening. And so Maddow thinks she's got another bombshell. But, like Trump's taxes and shit. So, all right, moving on. Nikki Haley's trending today, too. Apparently, now, this is interesting because Nikki Haley is like, everyone's focused on Nikki Haley for some shit. And apparently, so she wrote some tweet, Iran is selling drones to Russia and attacking American troops, and President Biden still wants to make a deal with the Ayatollahs. It is a slap in the face to Israel and our Arab allies and dangerous to America. A lot of people were like laughing about the idea that Nikki Haley could possibly run for president, which I'm not sure. Hello, Foxmore. I'm just going to say Foxmeyer. Foxmeyer. QBD. FX, you're in the house. FX is in the house. Good to see you. Anyway, so there's several tweets and articles and whatever. So, for example, this is her tweet, which I just read. And then someone here, Jack Posobiec, whatever his name is, Trump is going to find himself further and further isolated. This is Nikki Haley talking. I don't think he's going to be in the picture. He's fallen so far. We need to acknowledge that he let us down. He went down a path he shouldn't have. We shouldn't have followed him. Okay, so now Politico has this article, Nikki Haley's time for choosing. So the tweet they did was Nikki Haley's time for choosing. The 2024 hopeful can't decide who she wants to be, the leader of the post-Trump GOP or a friend of the president who tried to sabotage democracy. Oh my God. Look, this whole democracy thing, and again, whenever anyone on the left or Democrats say democracy, they mean Democrats in power. That's what they mean by democracy. They don't mean like real democracy where people vote for shit. Because the whole, like, even the Roe versus Wade thing, oh, they're destroying democracy because the justices, these unelected justices took away Roe versus Wade. Well, unelected justices wrote Roe versus Wade, and it's a very undemocratic process. And the current justices, as opposed to the past justices, actually made it a democratic process where you go back to your state and you vote on that shit and not, just write some laws in the Supreme Court that didn't exist before you got the case. So the democratic process would be to have it go to your state legislatures where you have a democracy and they have because those are democracies. State legislatures are democracies. The United States is not a democracy. It is a representative republic, a confederation of states, 51 democracies that all share a common defense and whatever, and interstate highways and shit. So anyway, democracy to Democrats means, well, you're hurting democracy. You mean Democrats in power? Yes, we want to be in power. That would be democracy to us. But where Republicans are in power, it's not democracy because they are cheaters and liars and stealers and all that shit. So anyway, but nobody wants, I don't think anyone is looking for Nikki Haley to be president in the near future. But they did this huge, 5,000 word article on Nikki Haley, just her pros and cons of her tries to Trump, and then when she doesn't decide tries to Trump, and I read this thing and I'm like, I'm not reading this on the show, but if you want to, Politico's talking about Nikki Haley. Don't know why everyone's pushing Nikki Haley. Maybe because they think if they can nominate Nikki Haley, then the Republicans will lose in the 2024 presidential election, but we're not going to nominate Nikki Haley anyway. Also, there's in Fox News, Nikki Haley says Biden's push for a new Iran deal will come back to bite U.S. in the ass. Oh, I'm sorry, bite the U.S. and Israel if not faced with strength. So she's, former U.S. ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, is warning the Biden administration must step up and hit the Iran back with strength instead of fostering a new nuclear deal, or else the United States and its allies will face long-term consequences. Yes, because the Biden administration is trying to do another nuclear deal with Iran, and probably not the greatest idea. But anyway, all right, moving on. And then the lefties are laughing about Nikki Haley too. So this guy, my Hollywood fantasy ending. Trump runs in 2024, is an easy nomination in GOP, then is humiliated in November by losing by double digits to Biden. Now, first of all, okay, give me odds. You can just type in the chat. I'm not going to do I'm not going to do a poll, but give me your odds. How many to one of if it's that Joe Biden will run in 2024? What are your odds? How many to one? Because I'm giving it about 10,000 to one. Okay, odds. In fact, I don't believe that. Of course, I don't believe that Joe Biden's going to be the president during the presidential race of 2024. That's my prediction. I don't even think he'll be president anymore. I just don't. But what are your odds? Biden running in 2024. Anyway, so this guy, Trump runs in 2024, easy nomination in the GOP, then is humiliated in November by losing by double digits to Biden. Then Trump is sent to prison for January 6th, etc. He won't be charged. From prison in 2028, Trump demands his supporter write in Trump, dooming Ted Cruz Nikki Haley ticket. Yeah, I don't think so. I just don't. I know. Someone here said, I think the party will leave him in favor of DeSantis if they both primary. Then Trump will say he left them first and that he's running as an independent. Yeah, doubt it. All right. Is that the last Nikki Haley thing? Yes, it is. All right. Tipping is, there was a tipping story. Oh, the only reason, okay. Always check the refresh on the stream. Anyway, there was a story. I'm going to just move on. Tipping was trending today because there was a, what do you call it? Like when you go to like Starbucks or you go to these places that have the iPads, they have the iPads as your, to pay, you swipe your thing in the iPad, and then all of a sudden it pops up where you can leave a tip, right? Why exactly would you tip that way there were no naughty bits shown? Okay, I hope not. It's just like, what the fuck was that? Do you like when you go to some place where it's just you're just paying your bill at the counter? Do you tip at those places? I do because I've always been I've been a tipped employee in the past, and so I just over tip all the time because I know, but I'm in the business, but I don't expect people to do that. You know what I mean? But do you tip when you just go to the counter and it's like at a Chipotle? Like, I don't know if that's the example, but do you tip at Chipotle or do you tip at, some of the fast food places even have that, where you can leave a tip after you've already ordered on the pad, and then you can pay for it on the iPad, and then it has a place where you can give a tip. Do you do that if you do your own ordering? Just yes or no? I don't know. Anyway. All right. Okay. The other things I have on here, I'm out of time, but new Doug Mastriano, the MAGA Republican gubernatorial nominee in Pennsylvania, is scheduled to speak today at a private donors retreat held by the Republican Governors Association. Some state Republicans have urged the RGA to take another look at him and consider helping him financially. Oh, well. And then Politico has a story on that. So I'm not sure. They're thinking that maybe, I didn't open the article, that Mastriano has a chance in Pennsylvania. The race is more competitive than either party expected. Most people are in a little bubble where they talk to one another and say, boy, there's no way Mastriano could beat Josh Shapiro. Well, you know what? Those people don't get off the turnpike. At a meet and greet in Pike County, Shapiro said he understood the high stakes of the race. My wife said to me earlier, with a finger poked in my chest, "You better win." I feel that I do. I feel that it's more than just good luck. Hey, good luck there. Though in some in the GOP establishment are more upbeat about Mastriano's chances than they were in the spring. Others who support him still have their doubts. I'd like to see that he's hired some TV commercial consultants that I've heard before. So anyway, there you go. All right, moving on. What else? Oh, the question of the day. Why isn't Hunter Biden facing a federal gun investigation? There's an article in the Wall Street Journal, National Review, asking that very question. You need only to look at the case of Eunice Isaac Mejia to see the unequal enforcement of law in action. Eunice Isaac Mejia is in federal prison. Hunter Biden is not. Americans who wonder about why their compatriots remain so habitually skeptical toward stricter federal gun control laws, we need to look no further than that to understand why. Earlier this month, a former 911 dispatcher named Eunice Isaac Mejia was sentenced to 21 months in jail for having attached a buttstock to a pistol. Under the terms of the 1934 Federal or National Firearms Act, any firearm that has both stock and barrels shorter than 16 inches total length must be classified as a short-barreled rifle, obliging the owner to federally register it and pay a $200 tax. In the course of his conversation with an FBI informant, Mejia made it clear that he understood the contours of this law and that he had even followed it before, but that he did not wish to bother doing so with this particular firearm because he was not a criminal and did not want to pay the government $200 extra just to put pieces of metal together. For this, he was arrested and charged with a felony. As William explains over at The Gun Writer, Mejia's infraction is as peculiar as it sounds. Picture Mejia, he's sitting at his kitchen table with his Scorpion in one hand and an aftermarket stock in the other. When they're attached, he's committing a felony. When he takes them apart, he's abiding the law. Together, felony. Apart, no crime. That is the absolute lunacy of the National Firearms Act. Now, it is indeed ridiculous. That is no excuse. Like it or not, the National Firearms Act exists, and Mejia knowingly violated it. The transcripts and his guilty plea make it clear, and yet one might reasonably ask why exactly the federal government went to such great lengths to prosecute him. It is not every day that an FBI team up with the ATF, recruit citizen spies to befriend peaceful gun owners, commissions a surreptitious photographing of legally purchased firearms and seeks a lengthy prison term for a person who otherwise has no record of wrongdoing. Why then did it do so here? Well, the answer is because it's important to enforce federal gun control laws. And then the federal government has some explaining to do about that. Over the last 5 years, the president's son, Hunter Biden, has provided the executive branch with enough evidence of wrongdoing to at least justify an investigation pertaining to his purchase of a gun, and yet at each point the executive branch has simply yawned. As Politico has reported, back in 2018, Hunter responded no to a question on the transaction record that asked, quote, "Are you an unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance?" 5 years earlier, he had been discharged from the Navy Reserve after testing positive for cocaine, and he and family members have spoken about his history of drug use. According to Hunter Biden's memoir, Beautiful Things, he was smoking crack every 15 minutes during a period which he bought the gun. which matters a great deal because in large part thanks to Hunter's father, Joe Biden, lying on Form 4473 is a federal felony that is punishable by up to 10 years in federal prison. So, without reading the rest of this article, which is quite, I'm only halfway through, the question of the day is, why the F in hell is Hunter Biden not in prison? Well, we all know the answer. How could he get 10% to the big guy if he was in prison? So there you go. All right, finishing off, President Joe Biden signed an executive order on Tuesday regarding the way the U.S. government handles Americans detained abroad. I think this is the Brittany Griner executive order. The new order, titled Bolstering Efforts to Bring Hostages and Wrongfully Detained United States Nationals Home, provides relevant agencies with more leeway to share sensitive information to family members of American wrongfully detained abroad, in addition to allowing such departments to sanction the people and entities responsible. Well, then I guess that wouldn't apply to the Brittany Griner case because she pled guilty to the drug charges that she's facing in Russia. But anyway, it expands the tools available to deter and disrupt hostage-taking and wrongful detentions. A fact sheet from the White House reads, it creates new ways to impose costs on terrorist organizations, criminal groups, and other malicious actors who take hostages for financial, political, or other gains and thus threaten the integrity of the international political system. International political system? Yeah. That makes me nervous. Anyway, and the safety of U.S. nationals and other persons abroad. Well, it's kind of funny how things change from administration to administration, how people get in trouble abroad and either come home under a certain guy with funny hair's administration or they languish in prison in the guy with the... I have a new name for Joe. I just made this up today. I feel like I'm so brilliant with this one. What did I call him in the in the description? I said, let's see. Oh, the dimensional one, spelled dementia. No. I'm so proud of myself. The dimensional one. That's funny. All right. Now, finally, I didn't pull up the article for this one, but I just want to show you the tweets. First of all, this is I want to go find this article now, and this is what I'm going to finish with because I'm out of time. So apparently there's this article in the New York fucking Times. Okay, now I certainly, in fact, this deserves music. Let me put some music on here. Let's just go here. Let's see if this works. Yeah, that works. In the New York fucking Times. This story is in the New York Times. A 28-year-old editor and filmmaker in Brooklyn was eating spaghetti when she had a realization. Wait a minute. Let me try that. That's too happy. Oh, here we go. This is much better. Oh, yeah. A 28-year-old editor and filmmaker in Brooklyn was eating spaghetti when she had a realization. She was being hot. She posted a 7-second video of herself twirling pasta. It inspired at least one marriage proposal. She's one of many who are expanding on the definition of hotness and pushing for a broader understanding of the term. Hotness is no longer just in the eye of the beholder. It's a mood. It's a vibe. And here she is. What the fresh fuck is this in the New York Times? So someone, Dave Burge, who usually is identifying old cars for people, says, the New York Times achieves final evolutionary metamorphosis into self-affirmation dream journal for Brooklyn millennial women with $200,000 in student debt from Emerson. The amorphous blob corporate Memphis illustration with arms like a Jiffy Lube inflatable wacky wiggler sign has got me rethinking my previous notions of hotness. In the future, every New York Times article will begin with a sentence, a 28-year-old editor and filmmaker from Brooklyn was blank when she had a revelation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'm going to keep the sexy voice going. If you think about it, before you go, before you hit anything, just click that like button, because there were 48 people here at one point, and it was in the other show, and I lost half of you, but that's okay. Hit the like button, share the stream before and during and after the show, and if you be so, you know what? It doesn't work without the music. Let's try this music again. Please share the stream before, during, and after the show. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, you can do so at pdognight.live 24 hours a day. Oh, yeah. Or you could give Susan 30% in your super chats, which I'm happy with that too. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me today, especially those of you who came back from the old show, joined me from the chat, and came back. Also, thank you to our sponsors today, our very extra special sponsors, Gunfox 61, Black Hebrew Israelite, and FTG Farms. Of course, and Chicago Mike too. Gunfox 61, you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for being here. I will update the link to all these tweets and stories during the outro. Thank you for being here. I gotta go. My name is P. Dawg Knight. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.